Moscow. No one suspected anything was wrong. The plane approached the landing strip, but the alert ATC noticed that its landing gear hadn't been deployed. Had the plane, the crew of Air India 1 piloting the Boeing 747, not been alerted by the Moscow ATC, India's Prime Minister's life could have been jeopardized. Air India never made any public statement on the issue, and today for the first time NewsX has access to flight data recorder that shows just how close Air India came to crash landing. The irony is that the pilot who was at the helm of the controls was subsequently promoted by Air India to look after VVIP flight operations. Not only this, the negligent pilot is now due for another promotion. Appalled by the move, the Pilots Guild has now shot off a letter to the National Security Advisor calling upon him to stall the move.
You see, the FOCA video is only a representation of digital flight data recorder. So it puts out in visual format for easy understanding. And from this, you can make out that the aircraft did not have the landing gear down. You can make out that the thrust levers were idle. You can make out that he was way below the glide path. You can make out that he did not have the landing flaps. So it's a very, very serious issue.
Well, let's get in further details from Assistant Editor Ashish Singh, who's live with us. Ashish, this of course is a big exclusive. On one hand, it shows how Air India could have jeopardized Prime Minister's life in 2007, and instead of the pilot responsible actually being pulled up for this or facing an ouster on exit, he's been promoted twice almost.
Well, that's right. In fact, the pilot who was in the Air India 1, which was actually with the former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh on 11th November 2007, the moments before just the aircraft Air India 1 was about to land at Moscow, the landing gears were not lowered, and that is exactly when the Moscow ATC came into the picture. This is the video. We generally do not get any opportunity to showcase this kind of video to our viewers. This is called FOCA video, the Flight Operation Quality Analysis video. This is a visual representation of the entire cockpit system. Once you take out the cockpit system software and put it in a computer, this is the visual representation it creates automatically. And these are the certain factors, the parameters, which basically suggest, as was explained by Captain Mohan Ranganathan, one of the senior most voices in terms of aviation expert in aviation safety in this country. You can see the landing gear was not lowered at the required height. And the below glide path is one alert. For example, this particular thing has to be in the center. The landing gear again not been lowered, and that's when the second aspect comes into the picture, where the height of the aircraft is just 1,000 feet above the land. It should be at least 1,500 feet above land, ideally, to lower the landing gears, and the all four engines that again we mentioned was at the idle thrust level. This is the frequency meter. The descent rate is around 2,000 feet per minute. It should not be more than 1,000 feet per minute, ideally, considering the VVIP operation it was undertaking. Captain Arvind Katpalia, who was operating this flight, Air India 1, for former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in Moscow in 2007, currently heading the VVIP operations of Air India. He is the Executive Director of Operations of Air India and has now appeared for the test to become the Director of Operations of Air India. That's when exactly I would request our producer just flash that letter which we have accessed from the Indian Commercial Pilots Association. This letter has been written on 22nd October 2016, and this basically has been written to the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and the Prime Minister's office, raising flag over the promotion of the pilot who was actually involved in the Air India 1 incident, jeopardizing former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's life. So certainly the ICP, the Indian Commercial Pilots Association, have now raised the question, and what will be interesting to see, how would the national carrier, the National Security Advisor and the Prime Minister's office would react to all the proof we have brought to our viewers. And this is the letter, you can see, dated 22nd October 2016, written to National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, raising flag over the flight safety jeopardizing jeopardized by Captain Arvind Khatpalia, and this is the main context of the letter where they are mentioning that the pilot who endangered former Prime Minister's life in Air India 1, how can he be allowed to be promoted? In fact, he is currently heading the VVIP operations of the Air India. Uday?
We leave it there, Ashish Singh. Thank you for getting us all those exclusive details.